Okay, well, Tony, you told me your name, Anthony Ray Rawlins, and when was your birth date again?
June the 1st of 1961.
Okay. Now here's keep that with your stuff. That tells you that you are interviewed on this day, and you are on tape 43, and this is going to be on the shelf at the Portsmouth Public Library. Okay. And so, 100 years from now, your greats can go down there and check you out, man.
That'll work.
Wonder if I can get some light in this room.
Yeah, let me.
Right around the corner here.
Yes, you probably got it. Yeah.
Okay, that helps. Very good. Okay, I like to get a timeline. Where were you born?
Portsmouth, Ohio.
Okay, and did you live down there any?
A little bit, not very much until Dad moved out here.
Okay, now we're in South Webster, Ohio right now.
Yeah.
And in fact, we're at your house here. This is where you live. And what is your address here?
2254 South Jackson Street.
Now, did you attend South Webster schools?
From 1st grade to 12th grade.
Okay. So, what other educational experience do you have?
None.
Okay, then did you go to various training schools and things like that in the service?
In the service, I went to aviation supply school,
Okay.
nuclear, biological, and chemical school.
Okay. Various trainings at
Various trainings that they have.
Now, what is your occupation?
Now,
Mm-hmm.
we make solid oak furniture and custom upholstery.
So you have your own shop?
Yeah, my wife and I do.
Okay. And so you have your own shop then, and you take orders from people. They order things from you. You build it for them, and
Custom build it.
okay. Do you have are you on the web? Or you have a website or
Not
anything?
yet, not yet,
Got that high tech,
but we're getting there.
Okay. Okay. Now you say you're married. Now what's your wife's name?
Sheila
Okay. And Sheila, and what was her maiden name?
Rayner,
Rayner.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, do you and she have any children together?
not together, no.
Now, do you have any children?
Yes,
Okay. And who are they?
Cassandra Lee,
How old is she?
24.
All right.
Benjamin Scott, and he'll be 23.
Uh-huh.
And then Cynthia Lynn, she'll be 14.
Okay. Now, starting with the oldest there, where is she?
She lives up in Washington Courthouse.
Does she have children?
Not yet.
Okay.
She's getting ready to get married in June.
Okay. Now, starting, and then the next one down is Benjamin, right?
Benjamin,
Okay.
he lives in Rio Grande, and he's going for his last year of college.
What is he majoring in there?
I really don't know. He changed his
Mm-hmm.
his courses.
Okay.
He was in accounting first, and now he's going to, I think, domestic relations.
Now, is he married?
He just got married
Okay.
last year.
Have any children?
No.
Okay, you're not a grandpa yet.
No, I'm too young for that. Too young for that.
Sure you are. And now the the youngest then is 14.
She'll be 14. She stays with us.
Okay. So, and she goes to Williamsburg School.
She goes to the South Webster.
What did I say Williamsburg for? She goes to South Webster School. Now let's go in the other direction. What were your parents' names? Your father first.
Eldon
Eldon Rawlins.
and Althea Rawlins.
Now what was Althea, your mother's maiden name?
Riley.
How do you spell it? R-I?
Riley.
Okay. Now, your father's parents' names, do you know them?
John Rawlins and Bertha Rawlins.
Bertha.
Bertha.
Okay. So your grandmother's name is Bertha.
Bertha.
Okay. Now, are they still living?
Nope. They passed away. My grandma passed away in 1982, and my grandfather passed away in 1983.
Okay. And would you happen to know their parents' names? You didn't know there'd be a test here, did you?
Well, I know my grandfather's dad's name was, they called him Pop Rawlins.
Pop Rawlins. Okay.
I don't know my mother or grandmother's.
Okay. Now, were they all from around this area, or Portsmouth, or?
My grandfather was from around this area. I think my grandmother was from the Portsmouth or West Portsmouth area.
Okay. Now let's go over to your mother's side, the Rileys. What were her parents' names?
I don't know her mom's name, but my grandpa's name on her side was John.
John. Now, are they living or deceased?
They're deceased.
Okay. Now, and both your parents are living.
Yes.
And is your dad retired?
Yes.
Pretty much retired. Okay. He had the upholstery shop up
Mhm.
there on Esmond Sugar Camp, didn't he?
Mhm.
Okay. Now, let's talk about this. Did you you went in the service, and what did you first go into? The Marines?
I went in the Marine Corps in June of 1979.
You joined it.
Yes.
Did you? Okay. And June of 1979, you were in the Marine Corps, and how long were you in the Marine Corps?
From that period till August the 18th of 1986.
Okay. And did you go back into the Marine Corps any? You say that period. You're in the Navy Reserve now.
No, I stayed out a year and was thinking about it and really missed it.
Mm-hmm.
And checked with the reserve or the recruiting station down here in Portsmouth, and it was too far away to go for the reserve unit to stay in my field, my specialty. So I went into the Army Reserves for 1 year.
I see.
And being that I was changing branches, they only let me sign up for a certain amount of time.
Okay. Who's, I'm in somebody's way there, aren't I?
Oh, no,
Is that your wife?
yeah.
Okay.
And I stayed in a year, and it was a big change because it was difference of night and day from the Marine Corps to the
Army?
to the Army.
Well, let's go back to the Marine Corps. When you got out, what was your rank?
Sergeant,
That'd be E5?
E5.
Okay. Now, where did you go for your basic training?
Paris Island, South Carolina.
Okay. And who is this? Who's that? Who's that?
You can go around.
Huh?
That's my
Is
daughter.
that? Okay. She could have come in if she wanted. Is your wife with her? Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
Okay.
they'll go around.
Okay. We'll get her in the picture here.
Oh
for a second.
Lord.
She'll get mad. Okay, you went to Paris Island, and how long is boot camp for?
At that time, it was 13 weeks.
13 weeks. I think it's still 13, isn't it? Or is it?
It has changed so much. I really couldn't.
Okay.
It's hard either way. It's real, you know.
But you made it,
I made it. I made it.
and you got the globe equal and anchor and all that stuff. And did you like boot camp in a way?
In a way, I did. It was a enlightening experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being a young kid from a small town.
Okay. Now, what was your MOS?
Aviation supply, aircraft parts.
So after your boot camp, you would have to go to additional training.
I went to Meridian, Mississippi from October of '79 until December of '79.
Okay. And is that where you were trained in aviation?
Aviation supply school in Meridian, Mississippi.
What's the name of that camp down there? Has it got one?
It was a Naval Air Station,
Oh.
Meridian. That's where the Navy and the Marine Corps had that particular school,
Okay.
and both the Navy and the Marine Corps trained there.
Now, what does aviation supply do? I think by the title, I think I know.
It's all the parts that deals with the aircraft.
Okay.
Aircraft, helicopter goes down, they need the parts, and they come to the supply,
All right.
and from aircraft engines to steering wheels.
After that period of training in Meridian, Mississippi, where did you go?
I went to Marine Corps Air Station, New River, in Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Okay. And how long were you there?
From December the 27th of '79 till August the 18th of '86.
So you were there for a while.
I was there for a while.
Now, did you ever go overseas?
I took a Mediterranean cruise in May of 1983 till December of 1983.
Okay. You say you were in the Mediterranean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What ship were you on there?
The USS Iwo Jima.
That's a famous ship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a pretty famous ship. Yeah.
Now, were you in Lebanon or anything during that
we
period of time?
were in Beirut, Lebanon.
Okay, when the Marines were in Lebanon, they
When the all the fighting or whatever you want to call it was going on, and that's when they bombed the 1/8 Battalion. That's when they blew the building up when all the Marines were killed.
How many Marines were lost in that? How many personnel? Over 200.
The last count I got, and I got all the clippings and everything in it. There were 249 at one time.
Goodness. Where were you when that happened? At the moment that happened?
I was on the ship there, standing up on the hangar deck, and just the Mediterranean Sea was just so calm and everything, and there was no warning sounded, and both the elevators on the ship come down, saying that the 1/8 Battalion was just blown up, and coming down with stretchers.
Okay, and they were coming down with stretchers, the elevators.
The elevators, bringing the wounded and the
dead,
the dead and everything to our ship, because ours was the flagship for the 24th Marine Amphibious Unit that was over there.
Were you part of the triage, the care then, or did you have to get involved with?
We had to talk to the ones that were wounded to try to keep them from going into shock until the corpsmen and the medics could come and treat them.
Okay. That must have been a horrendous sight.
Yeah, for a young feller, had never seen anything like that. It was pretty eye-opening.
Now, we might say that the Marines were over there. Who sent? Let's see, that'd be during Reagan's time, wasn't it? Ronald Reagan. And Lebanon was in a civil war, and our reason for being there was to try and bring some stability to the place.
We were part of the multinational peacekeeping force.
Did you ever go into Lebanon?
Yes, I did, for 2 weeks.
What was that about? Why did you do that?
Well, to relieve, a lot of the people stayed on the ship all the time as a way with the people that was on shore to like an R&R, when a lot of the fighting wasn't going on, just sporadic. They would let the Marines and the Navy personnel on the ship go on shore for a few days, and then vice versa, they'd let the people on shore come on the ship.
Okay.
And so I went over there for 2 weeks.
So even though you were aviation supply, was that your MOS on the ship too?
Yes.
So even though you were that, you pulled a tour, a rotation
Pulled it 2 weeks.
as an infantryman, basically.
Yeah, you had to carry, an M16, your weapon, everywhere you went, on shore.
Okay. Now, other than the explosion, were there other times when the Marines were engaged?
There were, yes, we repaired a lot of helicopters coming back with bullet holes through. There was individuals that were shot in between the times that we had to go rescue and bring them back to the ship. But before the bomb blew up, it was just a few.
Okay. Now, were you glad to get out of there when you did?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was.
Well, after you got out, you came back to Jacksonville. When I say get out, I mean turn around, come back to your base then. And what Jacksonville or where were you?
Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Okay.
We come back to Norfolk and then flew from Norfolk back down to our base.
Okay. And that's where you stayed for what would be about 3 years?
Three more years.
Okay. Why did you get out?
Well, it missed the family.
Oh yeah.
And the business up here. We wanted to get back in the family business.
Okay.
And that's the main reason.
And then when you got out, you missed the Marines.
I missed it all, in a sense, and had the opportunity to go back in about a year ago.
Well, now you say about a year. Okay, let's go then from the Marines. You were out about a year.
About a little less than a year.
Okay, tried to get back in, maybe a reserve unit. Or
A
something.
reserve unit, and it was just with the winters and everything at that time. I felt that it was just too far to go.
You ended up in the Army,
In the Army Reserves in Portsmouth, Ohio.
and that was a quartermaster unit down there. No, it wasn't.
It was.
It's a. Yeah, it was. think it was.
We dealt with all the showers and the tents and everything like
registration?
that. Graves registration.
Okay,
and
right.
for a year.
And so, what'd you think of that experience?
It was different.
In what way?
Well, just coming out of the Marine Corps, it was just a little more relaxed
Uh-huh.
than what the Marine Corps was.
I see.
And, you know, it was just,
You must not have liked it.
it was different.
You must not have liked it.
Let's just say I didn't re-enlist. After the first year, the year that they let me sign up for, I didn't.
Okay. What's interesting here is that after that year, what rank did they give you when you went in?
They, when I went from the Marine Corps to the Army Reserves, they said I had to be taken down a rank.
So you're an E4.
I was an E4.
And now you're back in the Navy Reserve.
Last year, I had the opportunity, met a gentleman from Oak Hill, Ohio, that was a Naval Reserve recruiter.
And that's after absence from the military for since when?
1987.
Okay.
And
Here you are in the reserves.
conversing with him and everything. And,
What was that? Were you in a where did you see? How did that come about? How did you meet him and what happened?
we had a furniture store up in Jackson, Ohio,
Uh-huh.
and he just walked into the store.
Uh-huh.
And if I want to know something, learning in the military, you just got to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had a nice haircut.
Mm-hmm.
He was really clean cut, and I asked him if he was in a branch of the military.
Mm-hmm.
And he got to telling me, and I just asked him how hard would it be to get back in.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't too hard.
How old are you?
I'll be 43.
Okay.
And so he gave me the ins and outs,
Uh-huh.
and so I just told him, well, I'd like to go back in. And so he set me up, and 2 days later, the Naval Reserve recruiter out of Huntington come down to the store, and 3 days later, I was in.
You were sworn in.
And they gave me my all my rank back,
E5?
E5.
Okay. What is that called in the Navy?
Petty Officer, second class,
Petty officer. Okay.
in the Seabees,
See, that'd be like the engineers, wouldn't it?
engineers.
Okay. Now, that being the case, then, have you been in for about a year now? You say?
Next June of this year, I'll be in a year.
Okay. What have you been doing during this period of time? I mean, as far as the Navy's concerned.
A lot of schools.
Uh-huh.
They have every year they'll pick out just training. I mean, as toward firearms, a lot of combat tactics schools, and then the other year it'd be just building, heavy equipment, vice versa. You know, we've had a little bit of training this year.
You want to get that?
No, she can get it. She can get it.
Okay. So a lot of different training.
A lot of different training.
Okay. Now, where do you go for your weekends?
I go up to Huntington, West Virginia.
Okay. What's the name of that unit up there?
NMCB 1024.
Now, you're going to have annual training coming up here, aren't you?
Next month.
Is that 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Where will you be going?
We'll be in Shelby, Mississippi.
Okay. Now, is there a chance of being deployed, you know, with the Iraq situation and everything?
Well, you know, they said yes, they said no. It changes from, you know, day to day. And I've learned that you just take it one day at a time. If they call and say you're going, then I know that we're going. If they don't call, then I know we got a little bit of time.
Are your bags packed?
Yes.
You got your gear? And
I've got all the gear already packed, so all they have to do is make a phone call.
now, if you were deployed, do you know where you would be going at this moment, or they would tell you then?
They would tell us, you know, they would have a setting point of where our whole unit, because we're a sub-unit that's one small company, and our main unit is out of Norfolk, Virginia.
Uh-huh.
And so when they pass the word, then we'll all converge into one area, then they'll say where each individual unit's going.
Do you have bulldozers and heavy equipment, that sort of thing with you? Okay. Can you operate that stuff?
A little. I'm a new one here, you know, so I got to get a lot more of the heavy equipment school.
Now, do you like this Navy?
Oh, I love it.
Do you love it? Like
I
the Navy?
love it. Everybody should do it.
Navy Reserve.
Everybody should do it.
I'm 59, a little too old, don't you think?
Well, I don't know.
Ask her guy. If they need a lawyer. If they need a lawyer up there. Now, that being the case, you're sort of in a way in active duty, active reserve. But while you've been in the military, on and off the way you've been, you ever see anybody famous?
I seen when we were in Beirut, Lebanon in 1983. I seen. Well, then it was Vice President Bush.
Okay.
He come on to see, and his wife come over.
That was the first Bush.
That's the senior.
Bush #1. Okay.
And
so he came over there.
A lot of the big brass, the Secretary of the Navy, Secretary of Defense, at that point in time.
Okay.
Other than that, no.
Did you ever see any famous entertainers or anything? Did you ever have any of that kind of stuff?
No.
Okay. And what decorations do you have? You probably have a couple overseas things, don't you?
I have Marine Corps unit citation, 2 of those. The Navy unit citation, 2 of those. 2 overseas ribbons, 1 from the Army and 1 from the Marine Corps.
Why the Army?
We spent time in Honduras.
Oh, I see. I see.
And
Probably part of the annual training.
right. And then being over in Beirut, we were awarded the Combat Action Ribbon.
Okay.
And then I have the Navy Achievement Medal.
Now, of course, you're allowed to wear all those medals and
Right.
ribbons with your current naval uniform.
Right.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you ever keep in touch with any of the people you met while in the Marines?
I've tried to, through the internet, searching, and went to the library and have called headquarters Marine Corps to see where they've been stationed at, if they were still in, and haven't been successful in finding them.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Tony? I'd like to. Were you married at the time you were in the service?
Yes,
in
I
the
was.
Marines?
Yes, it was.
Were you married at basic training when you went to basic training?
No, it wasn't.
Okay. So after your basic training, you got married sometime then after?
I got married 3 months after I got out.
Okay. So when you're in basic training, you're not allowed any liberty, are you?
I wish. No. My mother and father come down to Paris Island to see our graduation and asked me where do I want to go, and I said, well, this is as far as I've been in 13 weeks. You know more about it than I do.
Did you like the Marines? I think you told me you did.
I loved it. I loved it. It was. I believed it was just time to get out and come back and be with the family up here.
You got any tattoos you want to talk about or anything?
Don't have no tattoos.
You're a Marine, you don't have any tattoos?
Don't have no tattoos.
And a Navy guy too?
Well, we'll be getting one here.
Oh, okay, good.
We're wanting, we're wanting to, but the regulations are very stringent now to where what type of tattoos you can get.
Want to get an anchor or what?
I want to get our unit symbol.
What is that?
It's a
Bulldozer?
no, it's a bee with
A bee?
A bee with a rifle
Okay.
and 2 anchors.
Okay.
and
Helmet?
yeah, a helmet, a chrome dome or a helmet, you know, whatever, and then Marine Corps emblem on one arm.
Okay, good. Thanks.
No problem.
Thanks
I
for
appreciate
everything
it.
you did.
I appreciate it.
Okay.